you have your debut novel out, Courier. Tell us about it.
Courier is very loosely based on my life in 1973 when I was a motorcycle courier delivering film for ABC News, which one way or another led to 40 years of hanging around network news. The story starts with a guy who's a Vietnam veteran. He rides a motorcycle at highest possible speeds because that fills his mind. It takes up all his concentration. And he can't, the dreams and the thoughts and the memories of Vietnam can't get in. And this job allows him to do it. So one day he goes out and picks up a film. No different than any other day, except that after he leaves, the reporter gets killed, the cameraman gets killed, the interview subject gets killed, and he realizes somebody's trying to kill him. So he has to figure out why and who and what. And not to give everything away, but it's the middle of Watergate. So, well, actually, I will give everything away. It revolves around what I consider, I'm a journalist, I don't consider it to be true, but I consider it to be an extremely plausible reason for why Richard Nixon really resigned.
Interesting. And now you have a background in television news, right? How did that turn into writing a book?
Very easily. I was fired. I mean, it's when I worked for ABC News for 20 years. I did Good Morning America. I did Nightline.
As a producer?
As a producer. Okay. Well, you worked my way up from a copy boy. As a producer, and then I burned out. Just pure and simple. 1989, which was the year that the Berlin Wall went down, Tiananmen Square, South Africa, Mandela was released. I ended up doing all those, although I was not the primo number one producer, and managed to end up the year with no sleep. So I'm burned out. And so I left ABC, where I'd worked for 20 years. And then the next 20 years, I probably had, 15 different jobs. And as I've gotten older, I've gotten grumpier. So
that happens.
Yeah. And it usually was that I freelanced for about a year or two, and I'd always have good freelance jobs, and I'd have a fairly good income, and then I'd get another job. And then this time, nothing was coming because I'm over 60, and the recession was on. So I said, it's time to put up or shut up, and so I sat down and wrote a book.
How long did it take you?
I don't want to make anybody else feel good about this. It took me all of 10 weeks.
That's great.
Well, my training is in television, where it's, okay, you've got 30 seconds to write that next line.
Right.
And so I'm not saying it was good, but it was fast. And then I rewrote it a number of times. And then, of course, I had to go and, beg for an agent, and then go beg for a publishing house, which folded 2 weeks ago.
Really? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. That's so your life is just like a roller coaster.
Just a fun machine, let me tell you. No, it doesn't matter that much, I suppose.
Right, your book is out.
It's out.
So
it doesn't help the sequel, which is already written and had been delivered in September. Exhibit A and Strange Chemistry, British publishers, were closed in, I think, a pretty clear effort to sell off Osprey Publishing. So, it had nothing to do with the writers or the editors on the staff, although they tried to pretend it did. So there's going to be...
So you have a sequel for Courier.
The sequel for Courier involves a young man named Rick Putnam, who is the Vietnam veteran. He's completely walled off. He's blocked off all friendship, all emotion. And he meets a woman, and there's a love story. He meets a woman. She's a Native American activist. She's from the Northern Cheyenne. I didn't really mean her to have much of a play in this, but she grew because she had great lines. I don't know. These things happen.
Yeah.
And so the second book, they start out up in the Northern Cheyenne Reservation, And as it happens, it's the second to the last day of the siege at Wounded Knee in 1973.
Okay.
And yeah, so that starts out there.
That sounds really interesting.
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, thanks for speaking with us.
Oh, it's a pleasure.
Yeah.
And best of luck with your operation.
Thank you.